kidding me?
Episode 367.
System activate.
This is
That's
NetHeads
wrong.
With Will Wilkins.
That's way wrong. How
What's
about this
wrong?
one instead?
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
We were really close. We almost had it, and then it slipped from our grasp like an old lady dropping a jewel in the ocean. Hey, everybody! Welcome to another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
I'll never let go, Jack.
Oh my God! You scared the hell. After having audio issues galore to kick this off.
I'll never let go, Jack.
That is beautiful, and
Except for right now, where I'm literally letting go of you. But I'll never let go, Jack, as I'm letting you go.
And then as after she has to let go, she's like, "Come back." Oh no, that was when she was yelling at the lifeboats. Never mind.
Yeah.
So, oh man, that talk about zeitgeist, man. There was a point that was the zeitgeist, my friend.
You like that was more than the zeitgeist. That was our reality. It was like a hyper super saturation.
Yeah, indeed. And then he avatared and it got everywhere.
It's still doing it.
Anyway, you want to take part in the program, you can one of many ways. I am seeing things, Trent. I am taking notice of them. And I am seeing far more and more people turning their backs, giving an X to the X Twitter.
Yeah. Well, and not just Twitter too. If you do use it, hashtag NetHeads if you want to hang out and shoot us a message or whatever. But like, I'm seeing the same frustration with all forms of feeds, in that there is like real time is dead. Everything has been legitimately commercialized, right? Like it has been capitalized, if you will, to the point where there is no longer like you can't even pay for like a live feed or anything. It's just like trying to give us what we want. Sometimes what we want is not what we need.
It's funny you mentioned that, Trent, because one of them apps that we all hear about, many people I'm sure actually despise, although based on some of the follower counts of some people, I highly doubt that it's all that not that watched. On TikTok now, that whole platform, Josh Mundell in the chat's letting me know it's my baby. Thank you. Good, glad to know. See, that's a reality that could kind of happen if I were a man of ill repute, but I'm not.
No. Nope.
Anyway, TikTok's got a lot of people, but the platform is also now, it looks like they are trying to become the next, and Trent, if you watched, because we haven't spoken since the big game. We haven't spoken since the Superb Owl occurred.
The Crocodile Championships?
The big celebration of football teams, modern day gladiators.
Well, World Cup's not till next year, Will.
No. I'm talking about the other football, the big football game. You're not supposed, for some reason, we're not advertising anything, so I can say the Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, just use it as two words and you're fine.
Nobody's paying attention to it right now anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't care at all.
Yeah, it's
about
like NBC's like, if you're just turning over from the big game, we've got the Puppy Bowl going on. But that's not NBC. That's Animal Planet has the Puppy Bowl where they just have like dogs like just running back and forth. You can bet on it.
Puppy Bowl.
Vegas. Yeah.
Puppy Bowl.
Vegas.
I'm actually I got to tell you, Trent. Yeah, I have to tell you that although I did not watch it, the alternative Super Bowl commentary that you could have watched on Nickelodeon, that was real time, hosted by from Bikini Bottom, no less,
Oh, really?
and Tom Kenny
Tom
and
Kenny.
the guy that played the character on Coach. They were wearing the funniest damn things that I ever saw. So basically, it was like a motion cap head rig, but it just had cell phones hanging in the ends, and I think they may have had to wear like body
And
socks
that's
that
what they,
had dots on them. But
that's
Squidward, or
funny.
not Squidward, Patrick
Patrick.
and SpongeBob were doing real time commentary right in the booth next to the real sports commentators that were also working this. And when footballs would happen, the red zone would be flooded with slime and all kinds of animation and fun stuff. And they had a good time with it. But that's not really why I bring up the big game. I'm bringing up the big game, Trent, because first of all, I gotta say, interesting trend now. I love that the big media companies have finally figured out, instead of spending an entire minute's worth of ad time for the superb owl,
Yeah.
let's just run a 30-second ad where we give them a little taste and tell them it's now online.
Yep. Yeah. Just go to our link. Follow us on
Gen-
Instagram.
Genius move.
And surprising that especially how did this not happen in 2000, when remember in the year 2000 when the all the ads were .coms, every
Oh
single
yeah.
ad, except for three were all
Oh,
dot-
and the stadiums,
Yes.
that they were in.
Yeah, dude, totally. The GoDaddy Stadium and everything else. And it's crazy that that. Why wasn't that a thing then? Is it because people didn't have access to the net, or it wasn't fast enough to really give them anything that was worthwhile?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. But interestingly enough, there are, of course, commercials they try to get us to watch, and in this case, Marvel dropped the Deadpool 3 trailer, and we've now learned it is Deadpool and Wolverine as the title.
Team up, baby.
Which, by the way,
Hugh Jackman.
yeah, and Hugh Jackman, by the way, to me, won Instagram. Of course, the marketing team really won, but Hugh Jackman won because, on Instagram, I believe moments after the title card was released, he did a title card as well, saying "There, fixed it for you," and it was asshole and Wolverine instead of Deadpool.
I like it.
Which
Yeah.
it works both for the characters and also the continued online, not real beef between Jackman and Ryan
yes.
Reynolds.
Yes. Who just the most the jock that you wanted to hate so badly in high school, but you couldn't. You just couldn't hate him because, God damn it, he's just so charming, that Ryan Reynolds.
Exactly, right? Oh my gosh, one of my favorite things, and I'm not sure if a new season is coming because I'm always behind on stuff, but one of my favorite watches that I didn't expect to like was Welcome to Wrexham.
Oh, it's in my queue. I haven't watched it yet, but their ads are freaking crushing it. I'm seeing on Instagram.
Yeah, I would highly recommend that one if you haven't.
Okay.
I'm still behind in the sense that I've got the second season to get through, but I can't rank that one high enough. But hold on. Let's Ryan Reynolds is awesome. He's completely charming, and it's very interesting to see. I don't want to say this or not, but it's kind of a continuation of a pattern that I think we're going to start to see, unless they are immediately going to make course corrections based on the other changes that are forthcoming. But I think we're going to see. I'm throwing this lame prediction out right now.
Okay.
I think we're going to see in the next few Marvel movies something we saw in this trailer and something that occurred in one of the last big Marvel releases that flopped, the Marvels, where we're going to start to see some of the culmination and merging of the the cinematic and the TV properties.
Yes.
And so we're going to start to see some of those kind of at least until, because these machines naturally churn along, and there's only so much I'm sure they're willing to spend on reshoots.
And to me that makes sense, right? Like I mean, we're having same day releases with a lot of features now. Not necessarily the Marvel movies, but like what, a month at best that it has exclusivity in the theater.
89 days, my friend.
Is that what
days.
they get?
Well, the last two have moved in 89 days to Disney Plus.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. But it's one of those things like I read recently that Ruffalo had, I don't know whether it was just an offhanded comment or whatever, but he was quoted as saying that TV is the TV, Marvel's TV investments are ruining their cinematic
line.
Like people are being saturated with TV, which is more accessible, so they're not going to go to the movies or whatever. And I just think that's so backwards. I think that you can't separate the two anymore. You've done too much work. It is what it is. And there's like one's going to raise the other, and the other one might not go as high, but the other one's going to be right up there with it. So everyone's just going to kind of have this great like high level.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, like I can't believe we live in a world where I take a moment to bitch about such a thing, where I'm like, you know what? Not for nothing, but if these guys want to keep me on a monthly basis, then I want to start seeing after one, mega property item drops on Disney Plus, I want to see the next thing starting right up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm paying for it already. And I'm weirdly still getting ads for a lot of services, not necessarily Disney Plus, but everyone keeps on like saying, okay, well, we just changed our user agreement policy, and so now you're going to be getting ads unless you want to bump up to our next level tier.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a certain point where all of your ridiculous money you've thrown at original projects and the like, the bill comes due, because it's one thing to say how many subscribers you have, but when that only matters to somebody like Netflix who, rely on funding.
Yep.
So it's like, guys, we're hitting our goals, so give us the money and we'll make the movies and then we'll hit our goals. And but it's like, but where's your money? Where's your money you're making? Because I mean, it's almost weirdly like, are we going to come to a point on streaming services just like we did with the .com of it all, to kind of fall back on that topic?
Yeah.
Are we going to be entering a world where now we see, like just recently happened in the news, allegedly, Paramount Plus and one of the others, Paramount Plus and one of the other apps, I can't remember which one, were thinking, or apparently having talks to combine their services into one platform. I don't know, but I can't remember. I just remember the Paramount Plus part of it. I can't remember who.
So and they would probably come together and make like a joint, because I mean that's what Hulu is, right? It or started out as was like multiple networks getting together to create a platform, or buying out Hulu to put all their stuff out.
Until the streaming wars happened, and then Disney just started gobbling up their portion of Hulu. And
but it's still smart for Disney because it gives them an avenue to do things that aren't Disney Plus friendly, like your MODOK.
Yeah, but here's what drives me nuts, Trent. Okay, because in my case, I feel like the snake is eating the tail. I have the Hulu package.
Yep.
Where with the live TV, and because of those two elements alone, I basically moved my Disney Plus over there because it's was cheaper. Part of the package, right?
Yep. And ESPN Plus 2 or whatever the app's called.
Which, clearly from the memorabilia behind me, you can tell the plethora of ESPNs I'm watching.
Yay, sports!
Yes, every once in a while I'll sit down with I'll ESPN the day away. With the sports balls and the Javelin that happens. The Ocho is a thing, right? That's a real thing,
it
isn't
is
it?
a thing. It is a real thing now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was Paramount Plus and Peacock. Interesting, strange
Oh,
bedfellows
that is
there, because
interesting.
that's like
That's CBS and NBC.
yeah, pretty much. That's
Yeah.
what that would be.
Yeah. Huh.
Sorry. Oh, so anyway, it's oddly incestuous because I do that. So I got my subscription to Disney Plus through there. But then I go onto my Disney Plus now and I've got a beta window for Hulu because, like you said, it's going
Right.
into the app. So it's like,
Oh,
so now essentially I have to kill one of these services to keep the
keep the
other
other one. Yep.
if I don't need the other one.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention the havoc that it has played on my password logins too. Even just with Marvel.com to read comic books, it gets so confused as to like, well, you started it here, but now we're using Go.co, owned by Disney, which is like their catch-all URL. It should be the login, but when you log in with that, it sends an error. So essentially, every time I want to read comics, I have to get a test, like a temporary password to log in.
Yeah, all of this because we were talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm just saying, but it's true, man.
Yeah.
We're all. I think we are all hitting the threshold where it's like I'm still having to pay for internet.
Yeah,
So because of
exactly.
that, I still have to. So I'm still paying Xfinity, man, because they're the only shop in town that's got good speed for me.
Oh, same, exactly the same. Yeah, it's the only place I can get a true unlimited data plan for internet, and because when you're pushing over a terabyte a month, like you don't have any other option.
No, it's same thing with this house because
Yeah.
we all be streaming, my friend.
Exactly.
Which is part of the reason why I've been sneaking some things onto my Plex server, because it's the same stuff that I would keep generating more and more terabytes, megabytes, any bytes of data just because I'm streaming comfort video, for gosh sakes.
Well, and on top of that, there's a, I forget what the term is called exactly, but there's a term, a theory or whatever in economics where people won't try to make knockoffs or get pirate or do anything illegal with the product if you make it easy enough to get. That they'll just as soon pay for it than to go through the rigmarole of get it cheaper illegally. And I would argue, just in the small sample size that I've talked to, I think that piracy is probably on the rise again because of this whole streaming like shit show. It's just everything's everywhere all at once.
I would not say you're talking crazy, Trent. But interestingly enough, too, because we're a tech program, you got to research some things, you got to be knowledgeable about some things. The adification, the consumerism of that pirate world too now exists, because if you are trying to find anything, you are going to have multiple clicks just to get to the thing you want. Because basically it's going to be like you are going to have to endure like 3 pop-ups to get one link. So
and not get confused with the McAfee pop-up because it's gonna say download now, and you're thinking that it's the thing that you want to download, but it's not. It is not what you want to download.
You know what the thing is, Trent? Friends don't friends torrent drunk high. That's the whole point. You gotta be alert if you're doing that kind of thing. Not that we would condone such activities here at all.
No,
but I wouldn't doubt it. It'll be interesting to see what'll happen. You're going to start seeing a lot of people complaining because, now suddenly they're getting enforcement letters to their home because folks, if you do that and don't use a VPN, you're just asking for somebody to come say.
There is absolutely no
Anonymity?
That thing through your ISP, which don't even get me started on Viacom owning Xfinity, vice versa. Who owns what? I'm not sure. It's the same company because, boy, I really, it would benefit them so much to throttle anything that wasn't their product.
Let me tell you something. All I know is when it comes to all these services and everything else, I'll tell you who I want to throttle. Okay, I want to throttle everybody. For gosh sakes, It's driving me. I mean, seriously, it's driving me insane. And
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that will pay for that additional service that will help track down those recurring charges on your bank. You know what's a lot easier than doing that? Just getting a new card for my account. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
that's true. Yeah, yeah, yep, absolutely.
And believe me, if anybody is needing money from you, they'll find a way to
Yeah.
get in touch with you to let you know. And then you can make a judgment call. Miranda, did you know, by the way, in the chat saying Attification of the Pirate Stream should be the show title instead of More Marvel Moves. So anyway, Trent, Deadpool and Wolverine, now the most viewed movie trailer in the history of the internets.
No shit, is it really?
And I don't doubt it. But going all the way back 45 topics ago, I think we're going to start to see more of these properties integrated, because this one, if you see the trailer, the TVA is involved, which is a Loki thing. I mean, it's not a heavy involvement.
No, but it's it's cameo is what we would say in comic books, right? It would be a cameo appearance.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe. We'll see. Who knows? All I know is I think they hit all of the right beats for that trailer. But the thing that shocked me the most, I think, had absolutely nothing to do with it. And I talked to Tony a little bit about this last week, but I'm more interested to hear your take on it. Well, hold on. Let me rephrase.
Sure.
I'm very interested
There we go.
to hear your take on it, because it happens to be of a subject matter that is almost as near and dear to your heart as MODOK is, for gosh sakes. Okay.
Maybe even more so.
Oh, well, let's see if we're on the same page. Let's see if that psychic connection is still working between us after over a decade of speaking to one another through tiny little windows and screens and things. The weirdest thing, 2 days after the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 3, on Valentine's Day, Marvel decides to drop the casting release and the year, or the release month and year, of the Fantastic Four as a Valentine. How long did it take you to get the news, and what is your reaction on the casting?
News was immediate. Because on my phone, if I swipe to the far left, it just has like a Google makes things that thinks I will like, and obviously Fantastic Four is at the very top. So I knew exactly when it happened.
I thought maybe you had some type of.
I don't have a Google alert, not yet.
Yeah, it's just like
it's funny though, because I have 2 comic book subscriptions now, 2 like paper comic book subscriptions now. G.I. Joe: The Real American Hero. I'll have that as long as Larry Hama is alive, and the Fantastic Four. That's the Fantastic Four and G.I. Joe. That's the one thing that I will have a complete collection of one day, minus the first 4 issues of Fantastic Four. But regardless, dude, it dropped. And Will, I don't know if you have paid attention to any of the design elements that they've been using, even in presenting, even the Valentine itself and the logo that they've got spotted around on Marvel.com. It's a very postmodern, early 60s look to it.
Yes, that was one of the points that Tony brought up. So much so that actually there is a 60s edition of Time that the Thing is reading.
Yes.
Like putting him around, I think, 1963.
Yeah. It is the only way you can bring the Fantastic Four into the MCU feasibly. In a way that we can suspend our disbelief to amalgamate them with the established universe that we've already seen, would be to have them predated and then forgotten somehow, just in the
that is one of those
zone or wherever they're at.
Yeah, that is one of those things that when you introduce new people, I know Marvel really doesn't hang its hat a lot now on origin stuff, but I think you do kind of need to get into modernized origins of characters.
Yeah.
Because you just aren't going to. Eternals, with all the other problems it had to deal with, it also had the biggest problem of these amazingly powered beings being in this universe, and we've never heard of them from 2008 on.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
They kind of did that with Captain Marvel. They kind of retconned the character a bit, and They found a way to say, okay, she happened. She was this very localized thing. Then she effed off to try and get the scrolls at
Right.
home.
Right.
So
Which
take her out of the
is
equation. Makes
and
sense.
the way they could do it, and I'm sure I've mentioned this before, is they're they went into space, and the whole idea, right, behind like the original creation was that they had to sneak on and launch because it was going to get shut down, and they wanted to prove that they could do it otherwise. And
Well, that's in the end, I don't think it was their strongest argument.
well, and so this is so perfect, right? So let's say it's the early '60s, late '50s. They sneak onto the base and launch out, go through the cosmic rays, get transmutated, and then sucked into the negative zone or a wormhole, or something happens and they disappear. Then they would be wholly omitted from everything, and then they don't show up until they come out of this portal, same age,
Well, Trent,
from the '60s. Perfect, boom.
yeah, it would. Hopefully, they would do it that easy. But right now they're doing all kinds of things.
Right.
They've,
I know. I know.
The whole last movie literally ripped a hole in the fabric of space time to get to another universe.
Will, are we at an infinite crisis?
I mean, I think I am, but that's because of the age I'm at, right? It's about the.
For those not familiar, that was DC's 30 years ago, 35 years big attempt to try and bring everything together to get all these different titles and comic books that are happening interdependently and independently in different universes and everything, to try to just like let's start over. It was like their first like reboot.
Yeah, and the thing is, Trent, you got to remember, you don't necessarily have to quantify it that much, because at least people that watch the CW and the Flash and the Arrowverse would know about it from there.
Yeah, valid point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think though, I'm hoping it is something just that simple, that they do. The only thing though is we've kind of already had the person out of time storyline, so.
Yeah,
but then again, hopefully they're just all really smart and they pick up quick, right? And
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
Like
less about that,
and bring the Russo brothers on to do it. Because goddamn, they do a good period piece, man.
I would agree totally. Well, plus I think they've proven themselves time and time again in the genre.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and with everything going on with all of Marvel's problems. It would probably that would be one of the things that if they aren't already under contract, they should be, because I think it's also been recently announced in the news. I don't know if you're actually, Trent, but one thing though, what do you think about the casting?
Oh, I think it's brilliant. I think it's perfect. I got no beef.
The only thing I gotta be honest, as much as I love Pedro Pascal, well, but then again, everybody. See, I come from an era where I remember where we all went, Mr. Mom is going to be Batman. So,
Yep. Yep.
I can't.
He was the comedian up to that point.
Yeah, I really, I know I need to kind of check myself there, but.
Honestly, I thought Joseph Quinn was kind of the odd man out for the selection.
Now, which one was Joseph Quinn?
He's playing Johnny Storm.
Okay.
And again, it's however they're going to tell the story or whatever, but there's a definite age difference between Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Which could be weird.
I mean, nothing shocks us anymore. Guy with 91 indictments is more than likely going to be a leading political candidate. So,
he's not even like legally able to run in certain states. But what I'm most excited, not one of the elements that they could play with, and I just looked it up. Matt Shakeman is down for directing.
Okay, yeah, that's right. And actually, speaking of which, you talk about a guy that's good at a period piece. He's the man behind WandaVision.
Yes.
So that WandaVision, for all of its good and its bad and its adjustments it had to make through the pandemic, I still think is one of the strongest Marvel projects to come out in a while. I just think it didn't need to work so hard. I think I would have rather have seen one or two less episodes of that show, and it would have been perfect.
Yes. Yep. I totally agree. Um, it's he is such an interesting like he he that is the man that made the House of Smod has said that like if he had known how much you can learn from directing TV, he would have tried to get into that and do more of that sooner in his career, right? And Shakeman, dude, he's done like his whole like everything is based on TV, and now he's getting into features.
Mhm.
And I think it's so smart to bring someone on like that for something that is a feature but has to pull from continuity from behind it and before it and to the side and all this other stuff. Not to mention he's directed episodes of It's Always Sunny, so the dude can put the funny in.
Yeah, which I think is an important element we need to kind of keep up, especially
For sure.
with the world we live in.
And
And
it'll be so easy to have Ben Grimm saying things that would have been totally normal for his time in the 60s and having served in, if they say, as he served in World War II, to be talking about these dames and their gams walking down the street. It's comedic gold.
not only that, but especially in the contrast of, oh my gosh, he is saying the most repugnant things, but ain't nobody going to be able to do anything to stop him.
Exactly. Yeah, like no, that ugly mug of the ever loving thing.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for good things. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say that. Not a good thing. I'm hoping that will be good too, but I'm hoping good things.
And they've got a very low bar to clear, considering what Fox did with the Fantastic Four in the past. Or was it Sony? Sony, I think.
Sony, it doesn't. Yeah, it was Sony, and boy howdy, right? Especially after the. I don't want to bring up his name because it just feels like kicking them when they're down. But we talked about it last week as well, which was like fan force stick, because you look at the logo that they use for Shaq, or not Shackman, but Tranks, and
Yeah.
that's what it looked. I had no idea. Anyway, recently also coming out in the news since the big game and all these changes is word on the street, which I'm always hesitant, Trent, when it's just like, oh, CBR or this or that, one of those sites. But apparently they're
Sure.
saying, or they're confirming what we all suspected, which after the breakup with Jonathan Majors, that they are abandoning the title of Avengers 5 is what it'll be.
Yeah.
So no longer Kang Dynasty, but the follow-up of Secret Wars still going to happen. But I think that the director of Shang-Chi is also out as the director of Avengers 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't know what. And that could just be because of the shift in the dynamic and the storytelling.
Yeah,
but,
sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and honest, yeah. I cannot even imagine directing a feature that has just got so many stakeholders in it. Do you know what I mean?
Those were gigantic jigsaw puzzles
right?
to try and put together, and especially when you see the behind the scenes footage, because you can tell that they just kept either pivoting in different directions or basically just trying stuff out, because there was a lot of people in like trenches talking, joking, or plotting and trying to figure out what's going on for like the big end game third act. I can't imagine putting together something like that, especially when you've got so many people's expectations to meet.
Oh my, you're coming off of, arguably, if we're including everything, the most successful franchise of ever.
Yeah, and you've got to create those moments that
Exactly.
that always have to happen,
That
especially
we're all
with,
expecting, right? It's not that we want them. We're entitled to them now, right?
every single Avengers movie must have an Avenger on Avenger scene.
Yes.
An Avenger must
Yes.
fight an Avenger.
Yes, it's just like the comic books, right? We need to have like some sort of misunderstanding to where we think they're a villain, and then they prove themselves, and we adopt them into the fold.
Mario killed you. in chat also says, don't turn, to sum up your previous comment, don't turn Ben Grimm into Archie Bunker, please. Which, by the way,
I
kids,
would love
Archie
that. I
Bunker was a
would
TV
love that.
character from the late 70s, early 80s.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and that's who should write it. R.I.P. Norman. Or is he still alive? Norman Lear.
No, he recently just passed. I don't
Yeah, I
know if
was
he
gonna
was
say, I
just
thought
shy of 100 or was 100.
Yeah. But gosh, man, he would be the man to write it though. That would be God.
Yeah, you got to go to the GOAT, my friend. Hey, by the way, to keep it a tech podcast, Trent, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you're watching the video, the wall behind me has changed, and my robot addiction. You previously saw the Ortomi, the little cube guy, right?
Yeah.
While you were gone, I had thought, oh, maybe I'll go with like little Roman pedestals.
Oh, I like that.
Right, they're cute, but I decided to go with these. We voted basically on these shelves last week, so they're now behind me. Now, the one thing I gotta say, Trent, I know, obviously this is an eclectic and bizarre hobby, but one of the things you don't think about, one, is constantly having a place for these things, and two, constantly having to countermeasure against them when you're in meetings, right?
Oh God.
Because,
Yeah.
they will make noises, they will move around.
Yep.
If I'm not blurring my background, somebody inevitably will say, what are those eyes behind you? Or what
Yeah,
the hell is
what's
moving back there?
What's going on back there? Like, and like, honestly, for someone who's not familiar with it, they would assume that like they're RC controlled or something, and that you're just dicking around during the
Yeah,
meeting.
oh God, yeah. Can you imagine? They're just like, that Will guy is such an asshole. He's always playing with his little
Just
toys.
playing with his toys during, won't even like interact or like connect with anyone in the meeting. Might as well just turn off his dude. Now that's, you want to get me on a goddamn soapbox, are those people that like come into a meeting and don't turn on their camera.
There are certain circumstances I think that is okay, but I think also, like, for those that don't know, I have a regular everyday job. As a matter of fact, there won't be an episode of NetHeads next week because I will be traveling for said job and then coming home the same night we would be. I think I'm landing right when the show would start, so that's not going to happen. But you can catch me the very next day over on the Nerd Initiative
Nice.
co-hosting Fandom. So you at least get a little bit of Will. And by the way, if you're listening to this tonight, tomorrow is Fourth Fun Friday. Trent, I don't know if you are aware that this is even happening.
Do I need to like vote on something? Because I will jump in. I will spam the internet with all the things needed.
Wow, man, I don't know what the hell you just heard, but Fourth Friday, is that what I said?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Fun Fourth Friday. Here's the thing: the department I work at in my regular job, they give us the fourth Friday of the month to ourselves.
Wait, so meaning that there's just no meetings, like you can just work on that Friday, or you get it off?
That day is not worked unless there are things you have to get done. Yeah, right? So, for our Patreon subscribers, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, you go to patreon.com/netheadsonair, or you can just go to netheadsonair.com to get directed to all of these wonderful places. One of the things that I do for our Fun Fourth Fridays is I do a club, I almost said a club, a Patreon subscriber exclusive mini podcast where it's just me talking to y'all, but it is live. I try to put them like around the middle of the day, so that way it can be lunchable for some people. You can have that excuse to be watching and going along. And I'm just saying, man, join if you want. It'd be great. I'd appreciate it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget, smash that subscribe button and hit that bell to get reminded. Sorry, that's what I hear on all the videos my kid watches. By the way, I don't mean to sound like the old man that I'm becoming, Trent. I really, really don't, okay?
But
I have a 9-year-old. So I've already had a 9-year-old that went through the YouTube era of the time. And it's a lot of very similar videos. But my God, some of them are the absolute worst. Like, there is an entire genre of people that their channel is dedicated to gaming, and they're
Sure.
playing like Roblox or
Oh,
Minecraft,
okay.
and they're
Yeah.
doing their things. And one favorite part of their shtick is to just scream into the microphone.
Why? Like,
Because it gets the little one's attention. I don't
so,
know.
so it's a manufactured Leroy Jenkins?
I mean, kind of, a little bit. I mean, if you want
Huh.
to do that, either way,
I
it's
don't like it.
horrible and terrible. And I just sit here thinking, this is all that this person gets to do, more than likely.
Well, I mean, yeah, yeah.
Or
Once
they've
you
got a
reach
hell of a
certain
side
point,
hustle.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Once you reach a certain point, because like up to that, like you've got to be doing so much other stuff too. You got to be like just because it can't do it just on one platform. You know, you got to be putting unique content out to every stream so that there's incentive then for people to
Trent,
jump into those certain streams so that you've got coverage here and coverage here and coverage here, and like then you've got
Trent.
to put it to your content schedule, and then you got to make sure that you don't get behind in your content schedule. Otherwise, you'll have to like make it up, and then you're playing that game that every podcaster is always doing, ourselves included, which is, sorry we haven't been around for a while. I've had so much stuff going on, but I've got some great stuff coming up for you guys.
Sounds very familiar, Trent. Sounds very familiar in the most haphazard of ways. We don't forget we are your most haphazard, decent podcast that you can get over at smodcast.com. Uh, my whole point is they've probably got a good side hustle or the like, but man, oh man, it is just
Yeah.
it boggles the mind. But at the same time, it also boggles the mind that like there's an entire generation. This is what they strive to do now. Both of my kids have always asked. They've asked me, "Can I start a YouTube?"
Yes, I know, which is like as like thank Galactus. At least as far as I know, I've never sired a child because or had any sort of stewardship over a child, because I would be afraid to like take their picture and put it online, let alone like see them in front of a camera and let them just do what they wanted.
Still, one of the most trafficked videos I ever did was me and my kid taking extremely large containers to Slurpee's any container day that fits through upright through this circle. So as long as you do that, you can. And I think I used my giant coffee mug, and she was smart and just used her insulated like water bottle. So she tried to make it last real long. But that video got millions of views. But oh my gosh. Speaking of which, Trent, 40 forgotten topics ago. That should be the title of every one of our podcasts.
Every episode, yeah.
I was originally way back saying, if you will remember, that we hadn't seen the Super Bowl, and I was complaining about TikTok that they were trying to become next. I was going to make a joke. But I don't know if you're aware of the service. I think I am because I have a 9-year-old. Plus, they've had commercials, I think. But my child, or not my child, this commercial, essentially, I'm not sure if it was really informative about the product, and instead was just existing to try and get us all to actually say the company name correctly. Because TikTok is trying to become, as I would have said before this commercial, Temu. But it is not, Trent. It is not. I don't care, Trent.
Yeah.
If there is a vowel, consonant, vowel.
Right.
Which by all linguistic rules in this country anyway. And no, I'm not like, oh my guns, this country comment. I'm just saying.
No, like in American English.
Speaking the King's English too. Let's not pigeonhole it.
I mean, they do have very different phonetic rules, but go on.
Mostly. Only if you're trying to get them to say aluminum.
Yeah, this is true.
What is it? It's aluminium.
Aluminium.
Anyway, it's pronounced Temu, I think, is what Temu. It's not Temu, that is Temu. And that's what the whole commercial existed as. But my whole point being that I was trying to get to was, one, mentioning that little bit, which, really falls flat and conversationally speaking isn't going to carry you very far. But honestly speaking, TikTok, that is what they are trying to become. They've got the TikTok shop, and like every other video, every third or fourth video is a video where a creator has it's either a flat out commercial or creator has been paid to feature the product. I too have done this. Now, I was very thankful for the money that I was paid to do them. However, I'm not sure about the longevity of doing that unless you figure out the great balance, because I will tell you right now, those things cause the hardest hit to my member count following.
I was just gonna say the second something feels disingenuous, or not, maybe that's not right, the term, that feels not less authentic, or
less organic.
Yes, that's the term. Thank you. Organic. Yeah. Yes. You're spot on. And it's super interesting because 2 years ago, I can't remember. God, it might have been The Atlantic, did an article about Temu and how they were ramping up, and they were making the statement of this goal was to saturate the whole like market, and they wanted to become essentially the go-to alternative for anything.
Yeah.
You just have to wait a little bit longer for it to show up.
Yeah. Just a little bit. You got weeks? We got
Yeah.
you covered. If
Which-
you've got weeks, we can save you $5.
Yeah, and really that's about it. Yeah. I mean, granted, and it's interesting because I've always used
My wife and
AliExpress.
daughter are coming home from dance, by the way.
Oh, is that what the dogs are barking for? Yeah. Well, and I've never used Temu, but I've always used their competitor AliExpress, because I had used Alibaba before for items as a retailer. Alibaba is used for larger wholesale products. You're buying a lot of this to sell in a store rather than for a commercial level. And so Alibaba is just their commercial, or is their wholesale site. Anyway, so I've never even used Temu.
Yeah. Neither have I. I almost did, because my daughter was trying to get something. I think my wife may have, but I never have. And there's nothing wrong with trying to save a buck or two, especially if you're not in a rush.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. But what I think the biggest problem that the TikTok app is probably having, and will have, they've always been about, because it like that one Netflix original movie pointed out, if you're getting a product for free, you're the product, okay? So in this case, that's what it is. And TikTok is, for the longest time, they tried to find ways to monetize their product. Yes, they were able to sell ads that would drop in stream, in swiping thing, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, though, I'm sure that, what they were doing is they were getting creators to a certain level, so that way they could then start having lives, and people could gift you, and so somebody's buying this fake currency, you're getting a small percentage of it, they're getting a percentage of it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So that was their dual money model that they were working for the longest time. What I'm sure they discovered, however, is that they by being able to do this TikTok shop approach, can just go ahead and have a much higher rake of percentage.
Yeah. Yep.
Or more to the point, volume.
Yeah, and exactly, and volume, because the shipping is so much, is the only way you can recoup, I would assume, the cost on that.
Trent, I got sent to do a video for it that I then never did. So technically, I think it's theft, maybe.
Anything you get sent in the mail, that you don't sign for, is yours legally.
Okay, well then we're good. We're Jake. It's of all things, it's a mag-safe magnet mount that goes around your neck. So if you're doing cooking videos, unboxing videos, or the like, you can just have your camera mounted on this thing.
That's cool.
And you can use it. It's really cool. But, I constantly see it pop up while I'm scrolling on TikTok, and it has a certain price. And now here's the interesting thing. If you just do your homework, and you don't fall for the impulse. By the way, I'm completely undercutting myself ever being able to make money trying to sell things on that app.
See, this is the organic part, right? This is go on, man.
Well, because here's the thing. I always did try to make them organic. At least, okay, that's a product I can sell because I can instantly see the video, I can see an application, and it could actually be beneficial if it's a good product. Literally, the webcam that I got, the smart one that uses AI to analyze the photos and everything else,
Yeah.
that I am using that now to monitor my front door to make sure my dogs aren't eating the carpet.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So the mag necklace thing, the neck camera mount is what it's called. Once you add in the shipping off of the seemingly lower price than Amazon for the product,
Yep.
it's either the same or it's more.
Yep.
So unfortunately, if you're going to be going with some gigantic conglomerate that is
Yep.
selling you something for an undercut price, you can more than likely still save money on Amazon.
Well, and if Temu is built like Alibaba is, or AliExpress is, I'm not sure if they are, but it's essentially they're acting as more of a hub
Dropshipper.
for all these other like people that are selling shit,
Mhm.
right? All this
Yeah.
other knockoff stuff, right? It's just a hub, and so
They
like,
are in business. It's what we would have called a drop shipper. It's a person that has
Yes.
a product.
Yep.
They don't have a warehouse. They don't do anything. They're
Exactly.
going to take something from manufacturer A, they are B, and they're going to sell it to consumer C.
Exactly. Yep. That exactly. They are just a digital interface for everyone else, and it's dude. It blows me away because like okay, just recently I wanted to save some money. I really wanted to get those magnets for my chef knives to put up to buy the actual magnet strip for those is super expensive. So I got onto AliExpress, found the most powerful small magnets I could. I think and I always choose the one that's free shipping because that's how they get you. And or that's how they recoup their costs. I'm just stealing at this
That's why
point.
it's shipping and handling.
Yeah,
Don't-
seriously, dude, it cost me like the entire thing for like I think it was 16 of these like super strong magnets was $2.70 something, $2.70 something cents. Shipping was free. I mean they had to have lost money on that. You don't send something from
Especially
the
'cause it's
other
coming from, like,
side of the
China.
world.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, granted, I waited a month and change for it to show up. I was fine. It wasn't something I needed, but like, it just blows my mind. I can only imagine that they've just got to like hold, and that's why you're waiting so long. A, it's coming from the other side of the world. B, they just got to wait until they can put it all in a huge, giant.
Oh yeah, it's in a big shipping
trailer
container
to
that's
go-
going to
yeah,
get on a boat. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, until it can get off the port in San Francisco and then get sorted and sent. Like, good Lord, man, that's a lot of work for $2.70.
Well, but when you multiply that $2.70 by everything that can fit inside of a shipping container.
Yeah. And then if you're feeling like half the ship or whatever, like it's a lot of product, man.
Exactly. And that's Trent. That's how they get you.
Well, and there's a trend right now with college business bros. So they're like tech bros, but they haven't quite got jobs yet. They're just in college. They're business bros because they're in business school.
I love the title already.
Yeah, but this is a legit trend that they do. They will find something that is selling well on one of these sites. Order all of them, just as many as they can get, and then they set up their own Amazon store selling one thing, just so that they can get it out faster, raise the price up, and they're just doing the exact same thing. And now they've just taken away one more step so you can get it in 2-day shipping.
Mm-hmm. And there are special analytic sites that they use where they're like, oh, that product looks cool. Then they look it up, and then they start selling it too. The one thing and look, guys, if you want to think of this still as a tech podcast, the way we like to pretend that it is, I'm going to give you one little piece of advice. And if you just hold to this one piece of advice, you will avoid disappointment. You will avoid probably spending more money. And you will definitely avoid having this happen more and more. If you're on a social media platform and you are presented an ad for something, don't buy it.
Oh, yep.
Do your research. Find it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
If you really think it's cool, and buy it that way. Or if you're still feeling impulsive about it, at least do a search on the product and find out what people are really saying about it.
Yes.
Because you got to think about it. These ads that you're seeing on Instagram, that you're seeing on social media, on especially, I think one of the biggest offenders is Facebook on
Oh,
this.
without a doubt. It's the only way they're making money now.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's because the people that think it's a good idea and want to get it
Are
are
on Facebook.
they're on
Yeah.
Facebook, and let's just say it's the older generation, so
Mhm.
we'll stick with that line and just ride that out. So it's a market that's being taken advantage of first of all.
Totally.
But
100%.
remember, every one of these ads, they are, if they're done well and not on the cheap, they are specifically structured to be intriguing to you.
Oh, yeah.
They are meant to be visually appealing, and there are elements in there that are meant to draw you in.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Worst thing you can do is when something comes up and it has a carousel, the worst thing you can do is scroll through that carousel.
yeah, don't scroll through the
Because
carousel.
it knows how long you spent on each product, and then
Mhm.
it's tailored even more. And then a
Yeah,
little
now
bit
you've been
more.
cookied for that, and that
Yep.
information is being bought and resold by all kinds
Yep.
of people. And heaven forbid, the moment you buy something,
Oh,
the
God.
it cue up Annie Potts hanging up the phone, hitting the bell, and screaming, "We got one!" Because
Yep.
that's what's happening somewhere.
Yep. 100%.
So if we've accomplished nothing else today, other than telling you, don't buy anything off those ads.
No.
Don't buy anything off those ads, okay? Just don't.
Just even if you're still going to do it natively, go to the website and buy it. Don't use the Perl that they've installed with the long CHBP URL that comes after the .com part, because boy, that's a lot of information they're taking.
Speaking of which, too, the ads they're also meant to deceive you, okay? Because somewhere there's always going to be something that's going to say like the quality, design, color, etc.
Hmm?
is just a photographic representation and may not be the same when you
Oh,
get it.
yes.
And that's why you think you're getting a photorealistic or movie quality Chewbacca mask. And instead you wind up with the rubber one
Okay, mine's not movie quality.
that's not as good as your stepbrother's. So, I'm just saying. If we've accomplished nothing else, hopefully we drive that message home.
Yep. That's all we can do for.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Greatly appreciated. Again, remember, no show next week, but you can catch me on
The
Fandoms
fan
over on
fantasy.
Nerdish. And you can also, if
I
you're one
wanted
of our...
I wanted to say Fourth Friday.
No, Fun Fourth Friday is tomorrow, but that's for
It's
our Patreon
freaking
subscribers.
brilliant, man. I am actually going to bring that up to my employee association. I think that's like the greatest idea ever.
Well, and you're specifically meant to like use the time to recharge, and because this
Yeah.
like you always, especially like if you're a homeowner or a family person,
Yep.
a person with a family, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I
Right.
don't know what a family person is.
Yeah.
You may want to watch out for one of them, but
Mm.
but if if you have a family, there's always something that you need to do, and like being able to go shopping.
Oh, during
at-
the
at-
oh,
right.
dude.
I will
Yeah.
go to Lowe's or Home Depot when I have to on the weekend, but if I'm going at 10 a.m. on a
dude.
Tuesday,
Greatest thing in the world. Grocery shopping on a Thursday morning, like right when it opens up. It's the
Oh.
greatest thing in the world.
yeah, because nobody's shopping then.
No one's there, man. Like
The guys are going to the pastry thing in the coffee aisle just to get some go juice and some
Yeah.
sugar.
I will take PTO just for errand days because you get so much shit done in the middle of the week.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a genius idea, and if you're one of our
Brilliant.
Patreon subscribers, technically, I think it's the MODOK level or above where you get video. But we do still release the audio for the One Lovers as well. So
Yeah.
because it's as little as $1 a month, and not to mention, don't buy anything online. But if I showed you these amazing
But-
challenge coins, as a One Lover, okay, all you got to do, just to make sure it's not worth my time, but is you spend $1 a month for 6 months, and you will get the NetHeads Patreon exclusive challenge coin right there, folks. And You know, if you have this coin, you're more than likely going to be able to see the video for Fun Fourth Friday. I kind of also call it kind of like Coffee and Robots because I could do a split screener and include them in there. That's a terrible angle, but hey, look at those hats. Apparently, I knocked over the camera. I guess I should have checked that in advance. But hey, tech podcast, yeah. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for dropping in. Do not forget to hunt out and check out as well Trent's other endeavor that is on the web. Let's not forget the good Devotion Wrestling.
That's right, Devotion Championship Wrestling, Devotion Wrestling on the YouTubes.
There you are. Make sure to check that out. Like, subscribe, and because don't forget, if you've stumbled across this or you're one of the hundreds and hundreds of tens of people that are still subscribed to this as a podcast, and you haven't rolled over to like all your time with murder, death, kill podcasts or economist stories or whatever the hell the niche is that draws you in.
Yeah.
Or what is that one? Is it Smartly? Is that one that it's it's Jason Bateman?
Oh, I saw an ad for them. Yeah.
It's amazing to think that I'm not like freaked out about people on YouTube making money and then like millions and millions on podcasts, for gosh sakes.
Yeah. Good luck trying to make money on that independent podcaster.
Right? That's why you won't. You do it for the fun.
Yeah, it 100%.
Or you have found just the right niche, so that way that there are enough people that want to reach out. And it is Smartless. Thank you, Zach, in the back. You might be able to eke out a little money making videos about webcams or handheld vacuums.
Yep.
And you might get a little of that scratch, a little of that quan.
Yep.
But that's about it. Anyway, check us out. Patreon.com/netheads on air. But more importantly, if you're one of the people that have been with us eons and eons, but for some reason you still haven't liked and subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so, because one of the things we're going to try and do this year, we've done very little to try and do this, but we're going to try for two things, Trent. We're going to try to crack that nut to where we can quote unquote earn on YouTube.
Ooh.
And I want us, and I hope we both get it. I'm sure they make you pay for it anyway. You qualify, then you pay for it. So it's no shock that it shows up. That's my guess. But if so, I would love for both of us to be able to get the YouTube play button this year.
Oh.
I know that's asking a lot because, like that whole thing where I'm talking about how, it killed my followers that I did those commercials. But what's even making it worse, like you said, the content schedule. If I'm not making any content,
oh gosh, yeah,
I'm not doing enough to dilute the pool of what I have to offer, so that way I can slip those ads in.
Yep, exactly.
So, it damages my own self as well. But, I forget TikTok, man. I need, if you are hearing this and you have never gone to our YouTube, please do. Because really, I would love for us to get that play button.
And honestly, this is something that I do because it's just like, I know it can be impactful, and it's literally, it does nothing. Like it is zero effort on my part. It's just like stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just like it. It helps people out so much. It's so easy to do. Just like stuff. Like it. Boom. Like. Done. On to the next thing.
Boom. Boom. Just click the heart,
boom.
move on.
Boom.
And
Mash it.
if there's a share thing, copy the link.
Yes.
Copy the link.
Just copy it.
You don't got to paste it anywhere.
No.
Look at Gus. Look at that pooch. Does he, we've done something that he thinks we're done, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I don't know
well,
what it was.
Since it's taken me 10 years to sign off, folks, till next time, my name's Will.
I'm Trent.
And we'll be back
soon.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. Signing off. I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it. NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodco Internet production. SIP. Only at smodcast.com. All right, diehards, this is your warning right now. I'm not going to make anything comical. We're not going to yuck it up. We're not going to do the laughs here. I don't know. I said we're not going to yuck it up, and then
No, I was literally just like pushing on my nose. It
Oh.
gets kind of out of its place once in a while. I have to kind of push it back into spot, and it goes click.
That's terrifying. But thank you for letting me know that. 11 years, 12 years, you haven't been able to tell me this, but okay. I'm just warning all the diehards because I know when things change, it can weird people out. NetHeads episode 367 is going to be the last time you hear little Nancy. Say goodbye to little Nancy, Trent. I already know the cut works. I'm going to put it in. You're not going to hear it. Don't be a little Nancy and just deal with it.
Will,
Going to be gone. Yeah.
you know what? It's time.
It is, man. The times we've
time.
lived in are changed, Trent. We got to make sure.
Yeah, and you know what? We can change with them. You know, you can teach an old dog new tricks. We're just learning them all the time.
You know what? Shit, dude. If you are passionate about this, all right, here's what you do. You go on to social media, whatever platforms. You use the threads. You use any of the platforms. If this is what you're passionate about, hashtag save little Nancy.
Boom. And if you're not,
yeah,
we know.
We know. Hashtag save little Nancy.